Hello, I'm Tyler Mullen, and this is my video critique for the book The Mind Readers by Lori Bryson. The story follows a girl named Cameron Winters and her ability to read minds. Cameron is a high school girl that only lives with her grandmother, who can also read minds. One day, a mind reader named Lewis Douglas shows up at her high school, and through manipulation, he convinces her to leave her grandmother and join a secret group of people with special powers. Over the next few weeks, Cameron learns many things about herself and the other people at the mansion. She also learns to use her powers in many ways. For example, she learns the ability of putting thoughts into other people. The rising action begins when Cameron finds out that the other children that lived there were taken by the head of the group, Aaron. She tries to leave, but she ends up being caught. After requesting to leave several times, she is told that she can leave under the condition that her mind must be erased. She agrees, and she goes back to living her life with her grandmother. That was a very brief summary of the plot, but thankfully the story gets much deeper with the characters. First off, we have Cameron Winters. As I've said previously, Cameron can read minds. However, an interesting trait Cameron has is how she makes decisions. She usually uses how she feels to make decisions. This causes her to act without thinking about consequences. This is also part of the reason why she is generally immature. This is the main reason she was willing to leave her grandmother for the group of mind readers. She based her decision off of her feelings towards Lewis. Next, we have the grandmother. The grandmother can also read minds, but she wants nothing to do with the group of mind readers. The group was established to protect themselves from the government that wants to use them for testing. This was the same group that Cameron's father was in and died in. Ever since her father's death, the grandmother has been very protective of Cameron to make sure nothing ever happens to Cameron or herself. This forced her to be secretive because she didn't want Cameron to ever know about the group of mind readers. And finally, we have Lewis Douglas. Lewis can read minds, but he also has a hidden power that he never reveals to anyone. Lewis has the ability to alter emotions. He uses this power to manipulate Cameron so she would join the secret group of mind readers. However, he also used it on Cameron so she would develop feelings for him. Here are some of the positive and negative things about this book. One thing that I found really well done was the human nature aspect of this book. It showed us that even if we got superpowers or supernatural abilities, we would still be inclined to use those abilities for personal gain rather than the good of others. Another positive that I saw was the plot. It advanced quickly, and I was always waiting for what would happen next. A negative that stood out to me was the judgment of the main character. Cameron constantly makes poor decisions that ultimately ends up being the cause of her problems. Another big negative I saw was the constant romance storyline between Cameron and Lewis. Even if the two characters were interesting independently, it wouldn't matter due to the fact that the romance never went anywhere. It always stayed in the same spot. For the final rating of the book, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. The idea was creative, but the lack of good execution and poor character development made me enjoy the book less and less. I would recommend it to teenage girls who are interested in romance novels. Even though this book is not listed as a romance novel, love and emotion definitely plays a big role in the plot.